parent? Selfless, reliable. But what truly makes a parent? Today we'll be diving deeper into who the parent are. To start, we asked Jack's mother, what makes a parent?
I think at some point in time when someone commits to the care, upbringing, guidance, and health and wellness of a individual who's younger than them. And why do I say it that way? Because I don't think you have to be related by blood. I think in the case of an adoptive parent adopting a child, that doesn't make them any less of a parent because they didn't give birth.
When asked at what point people really become parents, band director at Colonial Forge High School, Mr. Gillette, answered, when they have to change their first diaper. In response to this, he also marked that this is a rite of passage for all parents, and he believes that you have to do this in order to become someone's true parent. When it comes to the making of a parent, there are many factors that come into who they really are. But in our studies, many children and family members have found that once one becomes a parent, they are indoctrined into a special kind of language, almost like their own vernacular that is only understood within other parents. When asked about this special language, Kaya's father had this to say.
Back in my day, we didn't have no book face or Tweety Bird phones. We left messages on answering machines like normal people. In my day, people dressed respectable like. They didn't wear night robes in public. Heck, I would have been tarred and feathered. Those were the days. We would eat food, good food. Grandma would kill a chicken and we'd eat it boiled. None of this fancy TikToker food. Yup, schmelp. I'll show you a yup. Dang whippersnappers.
In light of this inadequate response, Kaya's mother gave some examples of some parent vernacular, listing such things as baby words that your younger siblings say, or movie quotes and weird accents. Speaking of weird accents, another thing that we found weird in our research on the parents is that they often have their own way of dress, and some children may find it weird. When asking her mother about this, Abigail's mom, Rachel Cumberledge, said this.
My kids can easily identify me because I'm usually wearing purple, something sparkly, or something cheetah print.
Along with this special form of dress, we've also found that many parents have their own items that they carry around, almost like weapons that set them apart from children in the battlefield of life. When asked about this, Jack's dad said this.
So in regard to tools, what about like physical implements? Anything specific?
Oh, physical implements. Okay, that too. Well, yeah, and again, it depends on the age of the child. So for infants, diapers, medications, play sets, a stroller, things like that. And that readily identifies a parent. If the child doesn't have to be in the stroller, and if you're pushing a stroller along through, somewhere, that pretty much identifies you. As the child gets older, part of it depends on what are they interested in. So, for instance, if they're studying martial arts, whether the age of 5 or 15, maybe you need some stuff around the house to help them with that. Boards, practice boards to break like we had, things like that. As a child gets older, I'd have to think about that one a little bit more. I can't think of any tools we have around the house right now, for instance, to raise children. I view it more, as I indicated from my earlier answer, I view this more of like personal skills and tools to raise a child.
After speaking with many parents, we've established that parents don't necessarily have a physical attribute that makes them a parent. Neither do they wear the same clothes, eat the same foods, or really have the same opinion on things. But is there a shared belief that makes them similar, that brings them together? If so, what are they? In order to find out the answer to this question, we turn to Abigail's parents.
Do you believe that there are any shared beliefs that most, if not all, parents have? If so, what are they?
Well, one would be leading by example, working hard, doing well at your schoolwork and homework, and always reaching for your goals no matter what they are.
After learning about shared beliefs, one last question comes to mind. Is the parent system hierarchical? Are there levels of parenting? Is there ways that you can get kicked out or seen as bad from the viewpoint of other parents? In order to answer this burning question, we asked Jack's dad once again.
Is there a hierarchy of parents, or is there a power distribution among the group? If so, can you describe it? Are there things one can do to gain approval or disapproval?
Yeah, there definitely is. Now, me personally, I try not to get involved in it. I would call it the politics of parenting, which is like any social group, right? I'm sure in high school you have the cool kids and, the jocks and whatever, the artists and the performers, all kinds of things like that. And even within those groups or cliques, you're going to have a hierarchy of like who's the leader, so to speak, or the most respected, or that type of thing. And I think you certainly see that in adults, and you see that in parents. And part of it is how they group themselves, like band parents or football parents, or is it the PTA, or is it the school body at large? And what I think is, if you look at parents at large, it's not like it's a group of society called parents and everyone's ranked within it. It's more of people have their little subgroups of friends or their subgroups of organizations. I know when I was in the PTA, you saw a lot of those striations like that, of the little groups that would get together. And it's something that I don't worry about the politics of it. I'll do what I can to help out the group. And I don't worry about who's ranked number one in the social clique per se. But for some people, that can be a real problem of getting you want your kid in the best possible spot, and to some people that means getting in with the cool parents and having opportunities and going to the pool and things like that. So people have to make those personal decisions on how involved they want to get in that, and then what they need to do to succeed in that. Personally, I put the welfare of the children as far more important than the social standing or clique of the parents. And I believe just be nice to people, get along, contribute to your little corner of society, whatever it is, whether it's a school group or a subgroup, and just be welcoming of everyone, and don't worry about that that social standing and competitiveness.
So there is a hierarchical structure within parents, but one thing that's interesting is that it all depends on who they are and how different they are. One thing that's very interesting that we found throughout our entire research is the only constant parents have is that they love their children. They all have different styles of dress, different opinions, different clothes, different diets, but yet in the end, they all have a great affection for their children. So to answer our question, a parent is someone who guards, protects, and loves their children, no matter what their physical appearance, their inside appearance, their diet, or any of their opinions. And that is what a parent is.